नमस्कार। आज की जो मेरी वीडियो है वो पहले की वीडियो से अलग है। आई नो मैं हर वीडियो की स्टार्टिंग में यही कहता हूँ बट मैं हर बार नई वीडियो लाने की कोशिश करता हूँ और आज की वीडियो भी उसी कोशिश का एक हिस्सा है। सो बेसिकली आज मैं फर्स्ट टाइम एक एक्चुअल पॉलिटिकल मेंबर की वीडियो लेके आया हूँ। यूजुअली क्या होता है कि जो डिस्कशंस मैं देखता हूँ, दोज पीपल आर नॉट any kind of politician or are not directly associated with any political organization, but which is not the case today. Today I'm going to be watching Shehzad Poonawalla, who is the official spokesperson for BJP, his interview with Barkha Dutt. I didn't choose any other clip because here the two sides are kind of complementing each other, because it's not like right or left. It is Barkha Dutt sort of represents the left and Shehzad Poonawalla is with BJP, so I'm assuming that it is a fair fight. So let's get into it. I will give the link to the original video in the description. You can check that out and then come and react with me.
Do you feel uncomfortable, disappointed, I don't know, choose the word you want to, that at the moment the BJP does not have a Muslim member of parliament in the Lok Sabha, before you give me the Rajya Sabha example that you do. Do you feel at the same time there's a very interesting outreach going on between the BJP and the Pasmanda Muslim community, which you have actually explained you yourself, if going by your original last family name, would belong to. How do you look at the BJP and its outreach or lack of with the Muslim community?
There might be.
I'm assuming this question is asked from him because he himself is a Muslim. So she's trying to insinuate that BJP doesn't support Muslims, and you are a Muslim yourself. So how are you standing with BJP? Or like, even if you're standing, how do you answer for that?
Be millions of homosexual people in this country.
Yes.
Does Congress party have any declared homosexual MP?
No.
Does it not represent the rights of homosexuals? Is it against homosexuals?
Not that I mean, I'm not a spokesperson for the Congress, so
I'm not asking you as a spokesperson,
yeah.
But you wouldn't think, right? I don't think so. Similarly, is it necessary that only if my Lok Sabha MP happens to be a Muslim, he will consider or work for the Muslim community?
No, in fact, it's like if someone says only women should be women and child development minister, I don't agree with it.
That's right.
So that point is taken.
But I'll tell you.
But it's not.
If the same logic is applied, should the Minister for Animal Husbandry be an animal? Just joking.
You're making a clever argument, but not a genuine one, because you know what I'm asking. You know what I'm asking. Let's have a genuine conversation about
I'm having a
this.
genuine conversation. Two aspects to this. One, from the first Lok Sabha from 1952 to the Lok Sabha of 2004, and I'm talking about pre-Modi era, because after Modi...
This idea I just wanted to share with you. There are like two aspects for an argument. One aspect is when you fight in the court. When you fight on technicalities, even though you know your client is guilty, but yet you bring up some technicalities so that your client walks free. So that works in a court of law, but it does not work in day-to-day conversations when people are judging you based on your morality, not just technicalities. So here, when she asked him about this Muslim MP question, he came up with a technical answer. He said that homosexual people don't have any representative. So shouldn't you be asking for them as well? And also, it doesn't mean if they don't have any representative that their rights are not being represented. So she said that you came up with a technical answer, which is correct, but you did not come up with a genuine answer, because you know that I'm trying to point out that certain form of discrimination, because BJP represents a certain religion or a certain ideology.
Modi ji, people think that this country democracy is over in this country. So I'm saying pre-Modi ji era, when democracy बहुत फल फूल रही थी, उस समय पर the population of Muslims was around 12-13%, 14%. The representation of Muslims average in these Lok Sabhas is 5.3%. Who's responsible? BJP. BJP was born in 1980, came into prominence after 98 for the first time, and now into majority government after 2014. Who denied the Muslims their representation? I'm not saying whataboutery that Congress didn't do it. I'm saying why didn't it happen during the Congress years? Congress is the bastion of secularism. Chalo, Congress ke baad there were other parties who claimed secularism. The reason is that, let me give you one more example. In Gujarat, the only time Gujarat has about 10% Muslim population. So if you see in terms of seats, 180 seats in the assembly, you should give 18 to Muslims. The only time Congress party in Gujarat has given above 10 seats to Muslims is in 1995. Modi ji was not on the scene in Gujarat. He came after 2000. What prevented Congress to give 18 seats in every election in Gujarat? Winnability. Winnability. I am a very talented spokesperson of the BJP. If I get a ticket from the BJP, will I win an election? No, not as of now.
You might.
I don't know.
Would you want to contest? That was going to be one of my questions.
I'm just giving this example for another reason.
Okay.
The reason is that winnability is the ultimate touchstone in a political contest of a democracy, right? We give tickets to people who will win the election. That is the political contest in a democracy. It's a legitimate political contest. You don't give tickets to people who are going to lose an election. Nor does the Congress, nor does the Samajwadi Party, nor does any other party. So in that circumstances, just on the aspect of winnability, obviously you're going to give your most winnable candidate. It is actually the most secular choice that is being made.
But you know,
This argument is made that in a democracy, the merits of a person is often ignored and the tickets are given to some people who only have the influence. Now, that is true. That is one of the drawbacks. But at the same time, you have to consider that you need to win. Even if you have certain ideas, even if you are intelligent, you have merits, you still need to win in order to make those changes. So sometimes you have to make some compromises because you want to reach that position. You want to win the elections. And change can only be made from a position of power. Shah Rukh Khan said in an interview कि गुर्बत में creativity नहीं हो सकती. So basically, you can't make changes if you don't have political power or influence.
This is the basis on which women have been. Let's pick up another subgroup, women, right? For as long as I've been in journalism, I have seen the story of women's reservation bill. Literally for as long as I've been in journalism. And for decades now, we've heard the same argument about winnability. It's the same argument that's given. I'm just saying there has to be a better way.
No, I think
around this.
I think that the entire parameter to judge inclusiveness in society and in the share of development should not be restricted to whether there is a Muslim Lok Sabha MP or whether there is a minister who happens to be from the Muslim community. The touchstone should be as follows, in my opinion. Mr. Modi runs some of the most biggest social welfare schemes. I call him the messiah of social welfare. When he sends a tap water connection, and he sent 11.5 crores of them to households who didn't have it, does Sultana and Shilpa both get it? Yes. When he sends a toilet to 12 crore people and we become open defecation free, barring a few instances here and there, there might be 1 or 2 instances you can pick up. But when we go from that stage where women had to lock themselves up and could not go and relieve themselves for hours, and today they are in a position to go and do that and then spend their time on education, does that not treat Sultana, Shilpa, Mary, Matthew, Mohit, Madhav, Mohammed? 80 crore people got rations. One instance where a Muslim family came to anybody and said कि हमें राशन नहीं मिला क्योंकि मेरा नाम अब्दुल्ला है. Is there an instance of where the 3.5 crore awas that has been given, the house, Pakka house that has been given, most of which, by the way, are in the name of women, their ownership has been given so that the women gets a stake in that property. 3.5 crore houses built. Please show me one instance of discrimination.
I take this point.
Taking that point forward, the problem with this narrative is that it is not even about the Muslim representation.
It's not a narrative, it's a question.
It is not.
Do we not want an inclusive parliament? And this is not only about Muslims. I gave you the example of women, right? I would like to see more women in parliament.
But I have another question for you, Barkha, because we're having a conversation, it's not an interview of that sort. Why should only the Muslims be the representatives of minorities in this country? 1 second. We are the second biggest majority. Are you telling me that Muslims with 15% population, 20 crore Muslims, are considering themselves as minority? Why isn't this question, how many Parsi MPs are there? minority mein minority, Jain MPs, Buddhist MPs. Why not the question that how many are there from?
This is true. This is very true that every time the term minority comes up, we instantly think of Muslims, even though they are not minority. They are the second largest majority, like he said.
From other communities in the minority, Sikh community, Hardeep Puri is a Sikh. He's a cabinet minister with multiple portfolios. Why isn't that said ever? Why was the minority commission chairperson always a Muslim? Now it is Mr. Lalpura, a Sikh. Jain members were not there in the committee, in the commission. Why?
Not to mention, already a Sikh has been a prime minister, which is a very small minority in our country.
And why is it that these communities which are micro minorities like the Parsis or the Jains, one second, then not one Parsi have I met in my life who said that we haven't progressed because we don't have a Parsi minister. In fact, they are foremost if you see in per capita income, in education and in all standards. How? Because it is not a function about who's your MP. That system, I'm glad that separate electorates that I need a Muslim MP to represent me is over. That was Jinnah's thought. This is not Gandhiji's thought at all.
I agree with that. I just leave it wide open for you to think about representation in general. It's not only about, I always say women. I want to see more women in parliament. Tell me how that will happen.
Yeah.
But let me pick up another thread here.
The women thing.
Yeah.
How?
Also, I think it will create some kind of separatism if only Muslims are representing Muslims, only Sikhs are representing Sikhs. That is not the spirit of our country. That is not the spirit of democracy in general. Because in a democracy, everyone owns the government. Everyone works for each other and themselves. So this idea, I think, will not benefit anyone and will only create rifts inside a already divided separatist environment that we live in.
How many women are editor-in-chief of channels?
Women leadership.
Forget political system.
No, I agree.
Forget political system where winnability on the basis of large number of aspects.
I agree. You are right.
Just on talent. Where are the women CEOs?
You are right.
Where are the women
You are
owners?
right. You are right.
Unless they are daughters of somebody.
You are right. You are right.
So that's what I'm saying. Why is it that a societal issue is then being subtly converted into a political issue and the BJP is being beaten with a stick with it?
I am only asking you, would you like to see, just like I would like to see more women, I would like to see, actually you're right, the examples you've named of Sikhs, of Parsis, I think we have to just...
She's stumped. She's actually stumped. She doesn't know. She knows that her question has landed her in a fix. So she doesn't actually know how to retract or to proceed. It's fun watching.
Think more about how we can, about inclusivity. I don't know the best way to get there, but I think even in our own newsrooms, in our own organizations, we're not as inclusive as we should be, right?
Let me give you an example. I think that rather than force inclusivity from the top,
Yeah.
like we always think that a law will come or we give something and then it will become more inclusive. The inclusivity needs to be generated from the bottom, wherein if everybody has a certain amount of socio-economic position and all of them are at a certain level of economic development, then obviously that will allow them more access to opportunity. You don't need to give the person the fish. You need to teach him how to fish. And if he learns that, then the access to opportunity is what you need to create. You don't need to hold somebody's hand and get them into parliament. You need to tell them that here are a set of conditions we're creating so that you have the access to fight an election and be into parliament.
I get it. It's all about the debate between... It started out as a discussion of religion, as it always does, because it gets more views and clicks. But it turned into a discussion of equality of opportunity and equality of outcome. So basically, her position is that there should be more inclusivity. So that has to be enforced from the top. So she is basically advocating equality of outcome, that there should be inclusivity, but it may not necessarily come from a place of organic growth or organic changes in the society. So he pointed out that it cannot happen that way. There has to be an equality of opportunity where everyone has the access to same resources, or like there is some kind of equality from the bottom of the food chain. When someone grows, they have all the resources, they have all the options, and they reach a certain stability from where they can decide, okay, I have all these options, what do I actually want to do? So that is equality of opportunity, that everyone has the same opportunity. I totally agree with this concept, equality of opportunity, because in an outcome it may seem like ideal, because it may seem inclusive, because you see at the top level from a bird's eye view that everyone has representation, there are equal women, there are equal men, but it is not a equally egalitarian society, because in an equally egalitarian society everyone is allowed to make their own choices. So their choices might take them to diverse fields. For example, women are more likely to choose teaching jobs or art related jobs, and men are more likely to choose STEM jobs. So in an equally egalitarian society where we have equality of opportunity, a disparity will occur, because women will be working more in one field and men will be working in another field. But it is a happy society, uh, as they have all gotten to exercise their own free will, and they have gotten where they are based on the choices they made with all the right resources. So on that note, I would end this video. Or maybe it got a little out of hand. Anyway, so if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.